Welcome everyone to Sharp Talk. My name is Tomas, and with me today is Doug Marcaida.
Mabuhay! Welcome everyone. And today is something special because we'll show you not just the practice of Filipino martial arts or martial arts, but how to live it every day in your life.
That sounds exciting, and I'm interested in learning more with you. Let's cut into it.
All right, so here we are. What are the things that you learn from martial arts that you can actively use without using the actual combat moves or self-defense, right? Well, there are so many things. We're going to cover some of those things that I start with. So let's start with the simple things, right? We have the respect. That's a great way to start your day, showing yourself respect. I will respect my body. I will respect my community. I will respect my environment because it's a good way to start your day. With respect, you can start to easily communicate with people. With respect, it's one of the things that we do to maintain things the way they are without chaos. So martial arts in general teaches you that respect in the dojo, respect for the knowledge imparted with you, respect for your partners or your classmates. It's the same thing that you would do in everyday life, right? When we say good morning, how you doing, sir? How you doing, ma'am? And whatever it is that you want to say. The way you look at people, they say respect has to be earned. Actually, it's better if it's given and then earned. By giving it, you earn it. A lot of people don't think of it that way. We as human beings want to be respected. It's one of our natural things that we need.
I like that a lot because it also applies with the weapons that we use, that you can take that same principle of respecting your training partner, respecting the tools that you're training with, and apply those to your daily life, taking care of your car, taking care of your partner, your significant other, and of course, being mindful and taking care of yourself.
And that's one of the things we'll start off with. You also said mindful. So one of the things about being mindful, to be in the present, is breathing. Number one, we're all addicted to breathing. As a former respiratory therapist, I understand the importance of breathing. It is everything. And in martial art practice, we pay attention to the way we breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Some even actually do this particular thing. What I saw them breathing in Silat, where for power development, was the back pressure. They take a deep breath in and slowly, as they're doing heavy weights, one I was like, wow, I couldn't question it because the guys doing it were striated and muscular, right? But I knew scientifically it's called back pressure. By making an S sound, you're creating, back pressure there. If you have emphysema, it creates the lungs to be constantly open, right? As a back pressure, they don't collapse on you. Another way to think about breathing is you're inhaling fresh oxygen and you're exhaling carbon dioxide, which is a byproduct of cellular metabolism. So a lot of times people, when they're doing a lot of physical activity, you see it in sports, they go in, they put the oxygen on right away. I mean, as a respiratory therapist, we're like, well, unless you really have a problem with your lungs, you don't need the oxygen. In fact, what you need to do is expel the carbon dioxide. Watching some of the Russians when I worked with the Spetsnaz and everything else. And the idea of that is when they were doing stuff, it's all about getting that carbon dioxide out, learning how to breathe. A motion that you do, like if you hold your breath up here, you're going to pass out, right? Or you're not going to be able to expel and breathe properly. You're not getting that exchange of energy. A lot of them would go, well, you want to relax? It's in your breathing. You take a deep breath in, and as you're exhaling, what did that do in that exercise? As I was expiring or exhaling my breath, my body was relaxing. Try it sometime. And it's really interesting when it's about getting that carbon dioxide out to get the oxygen in, but it relaxes you. So when they really say breathing is a form to say, oh, take a breath, take a knee, take a breath, because it relaxes you, it buys time. Take a breath also means get oxygen into your brain so that now that it's in my brain, I'm more aware of what's going on because we hold our breath. We don't know how to expel it properly. You got to have that exchange. So we learn this in martial art as an exercise, as a mindful way of being in the present. So can it be when you're living your life. Basically saying, oh, wait, don't react right away. Take a breath first. Take a breath. Now, how do you relax? I'm so stressed out from here. You're so stressed out. Take a knee. Get up. Deep breath. Exhale. Deep breath. Exhale. So there's so many ways of doing it. Yoga does it. Martial arts and everything. Life is breath. So learn how to breathe. And that is what I take from my martial arts into what I'm able to do in everyday life.
I love that because when I breathe, I feel more aware in the present moment. And I think awareness is very key and vital, something that you can take from the martial arts that you practice and apply that directly to everyday life.
Yeah, the thing with breath is, and breathing, we don't use it as a tool. It is so automatic for us, but we don't use it. Sometimes when you have shallow breathing, stop, take a deep breath. Oh, it's a tool. I'm stressed out. Okay, take a breath. It is a tool to improve your life, to improve your situation where you are. So use it just like a tool.
Not only does it give you stamina for your body, but it also just to me increases my awareness, situational awareness, biomechanical awareness. Can you touch on that?
In Filipino martial arts and other martial arts, we have what they call forms. Forms are your jurus, right? Or your katas, or your whichever. Every art has their own ways of doing it. But forms is basically what the word means. Form, proper uprightness, how the body will react when you're delivering, how to get the mechanics of the weapon so that it drives and it's driven from the body, how you get rooted from that. So when we talk about body mechanics, it's not just so that you can move properly, but that you move safely, that I don't overcommit myself, get off balance, and hurt myself. So that's why I love the way martial art teaches you to be balanced. Now, in everyday life, we do the same thing. How do I walk in public? How do I carry myself? They say the way I carry myself, if I'm up chest out and everything else, we're not that muggable because you're putting out your aura, and people go, oh, very confident person. As a predator, I'm not going to mess with him. So the way you carry yourself, taken from your form, it also takes away from the stress on your joints and your muscular units. I'm all hunched back this way from the form, from learning to do that. Your uprightness allows you to see everything. When I start to get in bad form, I bring my energy in. Anything can happen to me. Up here, I see everything. So form is so important, and the way you use it when you're walking in public. Now, as a way to live with my proper form is how I carry myself. It shows confidence. It shows that I can be relaxed. If my body is aching and all that, sometimes it's because you need to straighten up and understand your own mechanics. Now, here's the important thing why martial arts is so good. We do so many things in the dojo. We can roll, we can get in stance and everything else. We should do that also in everyday life. And we need to see when we do it. You're walking on ice, and all of a sudden, whoop, you know how to spread your legs because you almost slipped. Same thing when you get into a stance, you need to ground yourself. If I'm picking up something properly, right? You don't bend your back, or when you're hitting something, you have to use the proper mechanics so that you don't hurt yourself. So form and proper mechanics of your body should also transfer to when you do it in the streets in your everyday life. A lot of times, it's just an end result like, wow, you have good form and everything else. Where'd you learn that? From the dojo, but I do it every day because I know that it is one and the same. It's just proper living.
One of the things that you brought into my head was we did a previous episode on grips and how to change your grips. And on there, I talked about manipulating tools so that way you can stay a hold of them. And that translates directly to everyday life. If you're switching around a remote, if you're dropping your phone, and specifically catching drinks on the side of a counter, like you have that extra awareness and flow. And I think one of the things that you do so well is flow. I love watching you work because it's just seamless. So how can people attribute that into their everyday life?
Well, to me, flow is continuation of movement everywhere, from breathing to physical movement. The beauty of flow is when you think about it in terms of life and living. Water that is stagnant becomes something you don't want to drink. It develops bacteria and everything else. Flowing water on a river, you can see that it moves around. Just like the blood in your body is constantly flowing. Your energy, your breathing is flowing. The cells are flowing. So flowing is about movement. You're not rigor mortis and stuck in not moving, right? So you think about that. So constant moving in Filipino martial arts is because, well, in training, you don't want to trade blows with a weapon. I got to keep moving, right? The best defense is don't even be there. Don't become a target. A moving target is one that, oh, you want to hit me? Go ahead, hit me. Can't hit me if I'm not there, right? Because that's flow. Now, in training, it's also an exchange of energy for me. It's constantly moving. It teaches me to find the path of least resistance. But there's also the idea of block and flow, or you just go with the flow in life. So it teaches you in life that, yes, you may meet some instances where you're hitting or going up against something, you flow around it. Or yes, there's a blockage with what's going on here. You find a way to make sure that that blockage is somehow taken care of. In our hearts, you can blockage in our veins and arteries. You can have those blockages. The flow is so important. What do I need to do to make sure that flow is continuously moving? Energy, the way I take care of my body. There's so many ways to make sure that flow is continuous, that I get from my martial art in physical motion, in the training that I'm doing and moving, and also in my life and breathing and how do I interact with people. If I meet resistance, I know how to flow around it. Just like they say, go with the flow.
I like that. And you brought up with your partner, something that I'm really focusing on is communication, because while you're training with a partner, you have to communicate the drills. You have to communicate the pressure, the tapping, like, hey, yeah, that great lock on there. But it can also directly apply to teaching, because when you're communicating with a student or you're sharing and exchanging knowledge, you can take that into a corporate business meeting and say, hey, look, here's our plan. This is the structure. This is what I need. This is the template. And you can communicate more effectively.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. It's an exchange of energies. The flow between us is going. The conversations is a flow. When there's no conversation, it's dead silence. But if there's a conversation, there's a flow. We're both learning from each other. So there's a lot of feedback. At the same time, it's just, once again, the flow of life.
Well, I'm certainly excited to continue this conversation because this is only part one. This is going to be an ongoing series of attributing FMA martial arts to everyday life, giving you some tips and tricks to help you increase your overall well-being. Doug, I'm excited to join you on that journey.
All right. Keep flowing and stay sharp.